Okay, so today we'll be talking about developer three-phase pricing strategy and how do we take advantage of it. So in a certain launch, there's always different phases that the developer will launch their pricing, right? And how do we identify these are the different phases that we can take advantage of? So today, let me run through one simple example with you that is called Treasure at Tampines. In terms of location-wise, you can see it's not near the MRT and it was launched during about March 2019 thereabouts. So why do you want to use this project is because this project can clearly see all the three different phases of how the developer priced their units at a certain point in time. So first thing first, we want to understand that at Treasure and Tampines, there's total 2,203 units. But on launch day, there was only 272 units that is being sold. So why is this very important is because if today you're a developer, and on the first day, you sold only 272 units out of 2,200 units. The question that we have to ask ourselves is, are we very stressed as a developer that our sales is not going so well? So we can see during the first phase of the project over here, what we want to understand is there is three different phases: phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. During the first phase, when the developers have a lot of balance units on sale and they are trying to clear their stock, what they naturally do, it will be quite a fixed pricing. So you can see for the whole of phase 1, right, the prices didn't really move much. If you see from the line, right, first unit that was being sold was around 1,003 plus PSF. Then second phase, there was a little bit of a slight increment here and there. And third phase, the prices went up to about 1,005 PSF. So normally in these three phases, how we tell the different phases at which different time frame is that normally in first phase, it will be probably around 0 to 60% sold. Phase 2, probably around 60 to 90, and of course phase 3 will be above 90% sold for a particular development. So we can see the price difference from phase 1 to phase 3 is from 1,003 all the way to close to about 1,006. Okay, so now let's look at a 2-bedroom that is being sold at that point of time and how much they made. If you see, right, the day that they were bought was around 2019 to 2020. And today, they're sitting on probably about 250 to about 300,000 in terms of profits. These are buyers that bought in the first phase of the project launch. And if we can see the difference between those that bought in the third phase over here, these are bought in the third phase, which is around 2021. They are looking at 1.173 to about 1.16 range. Those that bought earlier was going at about 800 plus thousand. And this difference is almost 300,000, which is, to be honest, for a 2-bedroom, it is really quite a big gap in pricing. That's why you can see that these profits are made over here is almost the price from phase 1 all the way to about phase 3. So now let's look at another example, which is the 3-bedrooms. If you look at the phase 1 units that were sold, they were all going about 1,002 PSF, and phase 2 it went up to 1,003, and phase 3 it went up to 1,007 PSF. So just to highlight one very important thing is that those that were sold in the phase 1 and phase 2 projects, they are all actually unblocked view. But those that sold in the phase 3 was all in the expressway view. So today, if you put it into a resale market, when you are facing the expressway versus facing an unblocked view, generally buyers will prefer facing the unblocked view. Why? Because expressway normally comes with a louder road noise, which most of the time in the resale market, buyers are not so comfortable. But that being said, with someone that is able to already fetch 1.85 at this particular time frame, for a person that bought in phase 1, can I say it's easier for them to exit? That's why if you see in 2023, this same unit was sold at 1.75, which still commands a very healthy profit for them. So now let's look at another one that is in 3 different phases. The first phase, Stack 10, was a pool view. It was bought at 1,003 PSF. Second phase, at 1,004 PSF, also a pool view. And at the third phase, somebody bought at 1,500 plus PSF that is actually facing the bin center. So why do we want to share with you these things? Because when it comes to a certain project, we have to understand very clearly what is the phase the developer is currently at so that we can take advantage of this situation and also profit from this situation. Clearly, like in this situation, today, if you are at a pool view at 1,003, 1,004 PSF, and you know that your neighbor facing a bin center is sold at 1,006 PSF, today, if you are the owner here, how much would you want to sell? I believe you will also sell this or maybe even higher, right? Because deep down you know that you have a better view as compared to others. So in summary, what we want to tell you is, for today, when you see a particular project, we have to understand very clearly which phase of it before we take action. If today you are going into a project that is phase 1 or phase 2, definitely you will see a much higher chance of appreciation. But can I say that buying into the phase 3 is wrong? Actually, no. Why? Because there are some buyers that naturally want to be at that state. Why? Because today, at least they can go in fast, they don't have to pay so much rental. So end of the day, we have to understand one very important thing is, what is your cost involved between buying at phase 1 versus phase 3? Whether today are you buying in a safe price or are you buying in a overpriced unit? All these are the factors that we have to analyze clearly before we decide whether should we buy into a particular project. And of course, different phase definitely command different profits as what we have seen just now. Those people that bought in the phase 1 versus phase 2 and phase 3, all of this commands different profits. That is why it's so important for us to really understand where and what do we want to do with our funds for a particular project. So if you have any questions that you want to understand regarding which phase the project is or how do you analyze certain units, feel free to WhatsApp me directly. This is my QR code and I will see you in the next video soon.